Welcome to the Pineapple Pin Up the Hot Wife Life podcast. On today's podcast, I am going to go over the party we had last weekend. I'm going to play a little bit of the interview that I had with my husband. I am going to um, tell you a little bit about what it's like when my husband's not with me at the party and what he's kind of going through, at least secondhand on that. Enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to have even more trouble with this party than I've had with past parties because it was madness. I did not know a very large number of the people that were there. I really was on my back foot with that. It was oh, it was really good though. Oh my god, it was so much fun. But that was from my perspective. Okay. If you turned the tables, if you turned it to the perspective of the men that were there, I'm not entirely sure it was that great of a party. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So that's the important part for me, right? Okay, I'm not going to be able to go linear. It's going to have to be by category. Um, OG was there, and he and I have had ups and downs every time that we like throughout the times that we've met. And this time it was mostly positive. So there's that. Um he was actually the first person that I played with. He got there um early and we sat around talking with the young lady that came with him. Apparently it was a ride situation, but I'm not 100% sure on the dynamic. But he came with a girl and she was somebody that we had personally invited and said, "Hey, come on out," you know. So we got to the point of the evening. It's been like an hour for everyone to arrive. We've been talking and chatting and sitting around waiting. And then I had to go get a physical key to the room because we only had digital keys. So I had to go get a physical key to the room to bring it back so that if anybody needed to go and smoke, they'd be able to get in and out of the doors without alerting the front desk that they were going in and out. Anyway, um, it became so I went and got the key, came back, and we gave the instructions. We basically ran through the rules and laid it all out. Then I immediately turned to OG because I knew that he'd want to get the party started. He is always eager to be the first one in my camp. I don't know about the other people, but he's eager to be the first one in my camp. So I took him and we went, and he is very possessive to say the least. He wants not to have to share his time with me. He wants to be my sole focus and center of attention. I He did, of course, vagina yoga, got me all stretched out, ready for the evening. And he does this move where he sort of like he has a he's very well endowed. And he does this thing where he pushes in and then pushes a little bit further just to make sure I feel that stretch. So that was great. That was a lot of fun. And I ended up playing with him one more time that night, and he was hoping I would come back for thirds. His big thing was, when you're done playing with all these little boys, come back and get a real man. So I did end up playing with him 2 times, and one of the times that we were playing, a gentleman came over and started playing with my breasts, and he looked at that man and said, "Could you back up? Could you back off?" Um, I am not gonna say much more about that. So, um, there was another gentleman that, Josh was there, and Josh was very much a team with my husband. He was playing the role of encouragement and, proud papa, not, ew, that's gross. And like proud, proud dude of his girl, very much. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting dynamic. And he didn't know until after the party, actually a couple days after the party, that my husband had basically given him that instruction. Go make sure our girl's okay. Go make sure our girl's doing good. Because he was busy, monitoring the party. And that's the part that kind of sucks about throwing our own parties, is that my husband's participation in it is more audio. It's more tertiary. It's more like outside my bubble. Josh was there, and Josh and I several times throughout the night ended up fucking. We fucked. I can't even remember, but he was very gracious about the fact that there were a lot of people there, and it was like standing room only. It was like a line had formed somewhere. He and I, he was really good about encouraging guys to get in there and taking their turn. There were several points where I would be, well, most of the night, I would be fucking someone and then either have 2 cocks in my hand or I'd have 1 cock in my mouth and being fucked. It was standing room only. Okay. I should probably give you the dynamics of the party. There were 24 people, 6 of them were girls, 18 of them were men. 2 of the men were not playing because one was my husband who was monitoring and doesn't play. And then there was the other lady who is a vixen stag situation. Her husband was there and he was not playing. So we ended up having we really thought it was very even for the numbers when we started. There was one girl there. She only gives blowjobs, and she was in full force. We set up a glory hole for her, and she enjoyed the shit out of it. She wasn't there for long. She was only there for like a couple of hours, and I can get that because blowjob mouth is a thing. Okay, it becomes a real like source of pain. So you kind of got to limit yourself in that arena if that's the only thing that you're doing, if there's not a lot of switch between. So let me talk about Z. Okay, so at one point Z had gotten had it was his turn, and he was fucking me, and he was doing a fantastic job. And he stroked out he was not stroked out, that sounds bad. He pulled out at just the moment. And I don't know if it's a right moment or if it's just a moment, but he pulled out just as I was starting to geyser. And it was so much fluid. It hit his chest came up and literally drenched me. I'm not talking about little droplets. I'm talking about a full, like, tidal wave of full tidal wave of juice that literally covered me in dripping wetness along the entire right side of my body, from my shoulder to my hip, dripping off. It was so much fluid. It hit the guy whose dick was in my hand on the right-hand side. It hit all of Z's chest. It was this Bellagio fountain of a moment. And he was, God damn, I heard of super soakers, but this is unreal. And I'm like, why? Like, is this your first time playing in a fire hydrant? What are you doing? You don't pull that's look at me, I'm soaked. And he's like, yeah, you are. Um, so it's a source of pride for him is like, what am I doing to this poor hotel room for me? But at the same time, I got to come. So I don't have that many complaints about it. But he was so intrigued by it that he kept coming back to see how much fireworks he could create. I'm sorry, fireworks is the wrong word. How much waterworks he could create. He literally fingered me in that way that when you get fingered, you're going to spray. He came back and fucked me, and he was like, I like this fire hydrant. I'm going to play in this fire hydrant. And a thought occurred to me while I was literally soaking his balls. I might have a new title, nut washer. And I said it out loud because I have no filter between my mouth and my brain. I have no ability to edit myself in the moment. But he was a lot of fun, and he was digging the vibe. Jay came. I haven't seen Jay in so long. It has been so long since I've seen him that it was amazing. First of all, it was amazing to see him. Second of all, it was amazing to fuck him. He came back and he did all the things. He, like, edge of the bed, put my shoes back on because I got to get some traction. And what's really funny is Josh and Jay know each other. They've known each other for years. And I'm like, okay, this is my world coming together, you know? But it makes perfect sense because we've all been in the same community. And that's how we met, was inside the community. So it makes sense in some small, silly ways. And it had been so long since I'd seen him, and I know now. I miss him so much. It was really good. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get me to come all over him, all over the floor, all over the edge of the bed. He is my fucking cum falls guy. He gets it every time. He knows exactly what, and it even our separated time, like, it's been months since I've seen him. And even in that separation of time, he has not forgotten what it takes to make my body sing. And God love a boy who knows how to make a girl's body sing. But it was so much fun to see him, and it was so great. And if I had had more time, I don't know, vertical, I could have maybe spent some time talking to people, but I didn't spend a lot of time vertical. I took several breaks, don't get me wrong, but they were all very short-lived. They were all very, okay, well, next victim, let's go. I spent the majority like I said, I spent the majority of the night with either 2 cocks in my hand or a cock in my hand and a cock in my mouth. At one point, I had I don't even know his name. I had this guy and he had his cock in my mouth, and I was doing that thing with my tongue at the base of his glands where just right there and it with the right amount of pressure, and I literally had this boy pulling away from me left and right. "No, stop it. No, stop it." And then, he ended up fucking me, and he did a very good job fucking me. But I got him in the end. I got his nut. It was nice. Um, now, mind you, condom play. Okay, so everything I'm saying was condoms. Okay. Um, we had, oh, man, like seriously, when I tell you that this party is so hard for me to go in a linear line, that is because I'm trying to only capture the moments because there were 16 men there. 15 no, I'm sorry. There were 18 men there. 17 I played with. My husband is included in that number. But anyway, at this party, because we stayed all night, I played with 17 of them. One, I only sucked his cock for a very short amount of time, and I feel a little bad about that because he's probably the only one that I didn't get to fully play with. Everybody else got a turn riding the ride at least once, some several times. Um, because it turns out that of the 6 women that were there, me and the lady who gives blowjobs were the only ones that played. And I'm not entirely sure if it's the women didn't want to play or if they just weren't being asked. Um, because when a girl is in this party situation, not everyone is like me. Not everyone is like, strip down, get it started, let's go. Some of them are like in need of courtship. Some of them are in need of putting them at ease. Some of them are in need of having a conversation so that they don't feel like a piece of meat. Um, so I'm not entirely sure what the dynamic was there. I'm not entirely sure what was going on because, as I said, I spent the majority of the night horizontal in some way, shape, or form. Um, many, many positions, many, many hip cramps, many, many like, okay, we got to change positions. I cut my elbow. I cut my elbow on the rough hotel towels because the towels that I brought had been done used up by that point. So I was using hotel towels just to try to keep the mess at a minimum, and I ended up cutting my elbow open on one of them. It was really sad. I was really sad about it, and it made me sad. I'm going to pause here. The party was a smashing success if you're looking at it from my point of view. If you're looking at it from the point of view of a man who showed up, it might not have been a success. It turns out that not the women weren't playing all that much. So the 6 women, it was very random and not a lot of energy going into fucking or playing. Um, it was it had to feel a little bit like a sausage fest, if I'm honest. And that's the only thing that I wish had been different. I wish that the women had felt more comfortable to play. I wish that the women had felt more um, asked. I think that our crowd was a little bit too new to the game to know that they need to speak up. But it ended up working out. I had a great time. My husband had a great time. Um, Everybody had good things to say about the party. It was not a disaster, but it was, as a hostess, you take some of that on where you're like, I really wish that it had been just a little bit more energized, a little bit more, yeah. And I don't know if I'm intimidating. I don't know if I'm kind of the reasoning behind that lack of energy on the other side of the fence. I really wish I knew. Um, in this particular instance, though, I am excited that the party was as good as it was. I am excited that the party went off without very much drama or anything. It was a very good party. Um, I would tell you more about what happened in the party, but it was sheer chaos. It was dicks from every angle. It was men lining the room. That bed was such a mess. And that comes into play in my next episode for sure. So please tune in for that. Okay, so I'm going to play you some of the party prep that my husband and I did. Some of the conversation we had right before the party started. And I hope you really enjoy listening to our dynamic. This was just solely the party portion. I have other bits that I'll stick into other episodes. I really hope this works because today we have a special guest, my husband.
Hello.
You guys are actually going to get to hear him speak. We are getting ready for a party. The party is going to start in what, an hour?
Yep.
Okay.
Two.
So 2 hours. Okay. So we're about to start 2 hours from now. And today was prep, a lot of prep. The prep has been going on for a while. We've gotten pretty good at this.
Kit.
Yeah.
We got like a murder kit,
Yeah.
except it's for
For parties.
Yeah.
Okay, so in our kit, what do we have?
Shower curtains, disposable cheap ones to go under the mattresses, so the liquids that leak don't go into the mattress and you get fined.
Very important.
We got a couple of Bluetooth speakers, one for each room. We found fancy ones that link together, so you don't have to have two cell phones to power the two speakers. Lube,
Lots of lube.
lots of lube,
We got 2 giant bottles because
industrial lube.
the little bottles tend to walk away, but the big bottles don't.
Yeah.
So and then we have condoms, and then we also have the lights.
Yes, so those were good to find, the black lights.
We found a set of 4 black lights.
Everybody looks better in black lights.
Everything glows better.
Yes.
What also in there, we have trash bags because it's very important. Clean up after yourselves.
We bring extra towels.
Extra towels for
because
sure.
the hotel towels run out quickly, and you want to have padding between you and the mattress.
Exactly. But all in all, I think we just bought some things to go in it. We bought the wipes.
Yeah.
So that people can do a quick, easy cleanup in between.
Yeah.
But so far, we brought some snacks and stuff, and now we're here and we're all set up, and we had a pre-typed message that we sent out to every one of our attendees.
Yeah.
That basically went over where the party was, the room number of the party, and all of the rules for the party.
Yes.
That just made it a little bit more efficient.
Copy and paste.
Copy and paste. Copy and paste. So we are expecting.
Should be a pretty heavy turnout. 28 to 34 people.
Depending.
depending if everybody shows that actually confirmed.
Nice.
So we should have a good turnout. 8 women to, what is it, 24, 20, 22 to 24 men. So that should be good. We have a special suite that we're holding it at. That's like a 2-room suite with a kitchen.
Yes. It's got a living room, dining room, kitchen area so that there's a place where people don't have to play or they're not in the play. There are 2 bathrooms and a total of 3 beds. And worst case scenario, the the sofa pulls out into a bed as well. So if things get really wild.
Go over the edge.
Exactly. Because that's the best part about being a girl. You can just bend over something.
Uh,
I had a question from a listener who said, "What does your partner do when he's not in the room?" This is actually kind of apropos because at this party that we just had, he was not able to be in the room very much. He was very much hosting and he was monitoring what was happening in the other room. And he was he was very remote for me. And that was not a problem or anything like that, but I know exactly what was going on in his mind. He was getting all of the audio stimulation of me fucking in the other room, making all the noises, all the oohs and ahs from the splashing, whatever. And he was very locked in his anticipation. I think that's the best way to say it. Because my husband really loves that moment of anticipation where he's going to reap the benefits of what is happening, of what is going on. And he may not get it immediately, but that pain of anticipation, that throbbing in your genitals when you know that you are going to have amazing sex, but just not right now. We just have to hold off a little bit longer. And that throbbing, that pain, that endeavoring to hold out is basically what my husband is going through pretty much the entire time he's not in the room with me. And it depends on where he is, because if he is at work and I send him text messages and say, then he is there thinking about all of the things. If I send him a video, he is visually catching. But because he's not in the room, the only thing he can do is sit there and throb, maybe leak, and enjoy that self-imposed, painful-ish prison he's created for himself. He finds that anticipation, that the moments before the moment, to be very erotic, to be very stimulating, to be very mentally engaging, to be physically engaging, to have that pit in his stomach, that fierce desire. And the only thing he can do is sit there and act calm and natural and strike up conversations with the people surrounding him. And for women, that kind of thing is not strange. That kind of thing is not like you would never notice, except for maybe a slight flushing of the cheeks. You'd never really notice maybe some nipple action. You would not notice on a woman the way you would on a man. So my husband spends a lot of time when he's not in the room with me sitting down. sitting down to keep the evidence of what he is imprisoned in to himself, like to keep it hidden, to keep it from being very, very obvious to everyone around him. And torturing my husband is one of those things that is delightful. He is such a good victim of this torture. He is so eager for it. It is tantamount to edging for him. He is fighting the urge to go all the way. And there are times when he has literally almost come in his pants because of what was going on and that he could not be a part of. I think that my husband and I actually go into this maybe a little bit more. I don't remember if this was in the interview, but we may go into this more and I may add another clip to a future episode. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me today on the Pineapple Pinup Pod. I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. I know that there are more parts of my husband's interview that are going to be coming down the pike, and at some point, as a bonus, I'll upload the whole thing so you can just hear it unedited. I am on all the socials. You can find my stuff in the show description, and if you need to reach out to me or have a question, you can contact me at pineapplepinuppod@gmail.com.